rajouter de la circulation parce que les rondelles qu'il a pu voir, Dobèche les a maîtrisées assez facilement. Mais là, avec une circulation plus dense, ça a été plus compliqué pour le gardien. Il croyait avoir été bousculé, mais vous avez vu, il y a Matheson et Dobson qui n'ont pas aidé à la situation non plus. Mais moi, ce que j'aime, c'est que là, il n'a pas perdu la concentration non plus. Et demeurer calme, sous pression. C'est important, ça, pour un jeune gardien de 24 ans.
Et le jeu reprend avec le dégagement de Gonçalves. Trop tôt, ça c'est refusé au Lightning avec 12 minutes 27 à faire.
Ah, une visite à Tampa, ça veut aussi dire de la grande visite à côté de Kent Hughes, le conseiller spécial aux opérations hockey. Mon ancien coéquipier, mon bon ami Vincent Lecavalier, j'ai fait un brin de jazzette avec lui, bien évidemment. Ici, sur la côte ouest de la Floride, évidemment auprès de sa famille, mais il rend de précieux services à cette organisation, bientôt au championnat mondial des moins de 18 ans.
Ces deux-là ont mis la franchise au monde.
Oui, absolument.
Kucherov, oh, belle passe, point frustré par Jakub Dobèche. Ben là, si j'ai fait le lapsus pour dire que Kucherov allait s'illustrer, quelle passe que celle-là. Mais quel arrêt. Et tir bloqué. Et le retour qui va à Newhook. Newhook derrière pour Demidov. La rondelle va bondir près de la ligne bleue. Newhook veut la reprendre. Dano vient tenter de reprendre à son tour. Ressort avec la rondelle. Et la passe vers Matheson maintenant. Un dégagement par l'arrière du filet. Demidov plaqué. Voilà ensuite Dano plaqué à son tour. La rondelle récupérée et remise à Matheson par Veleno. Veleno fait dévier. Oh, Matheson avait bien préparé ce jeu. Déviation un peu hors cible. Voilà Noah Dobson, contre-attaque. Un dégagement de Dobson à la droite de Vasilevski. La rondelle glisse, elle est récupérée par Perry. Corey Perry s'avance davantage, plaqué dans le coin. La rondelle est repoussée en lobe vers la ligne bleue du Canadien. C'est repris. Attendons voir, c'est repris par Dano. Dano à
know it's more to the left, but like. Mark room. Wait for me to go. That thing just not fucking working? Oh!
Капец тебе служил! Патронов нет!
Yo, can this scav fucking jerk somebody off? Thought I could see his bag from here, but I can't. They're still in there.
он, блядь, вон он, ебать! Служивый!
Black screen as a track. Jesus, fuck, that scared the shit out of me. Not sniper scout. I don't know, something else. Like, I knew he was here, I didn't know he was creep walking like that. Am I bugging or this shit is not working? Why are they so cracked right now?
А, блядь, Демис!
You have the gazelle? No, I was shooting him because I thought he had a gazelle. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. One missing. Yeah.
Ай, ёбли, граната!
What?
Вот он!
Like, how did he not die off that nade? It's slowing the brain command. We win? Yeah, boy. Hey, why can't I take it?
She's doing a scene.
All right, you guys, happy Tuesday indeed. I really did have the best day ever yesterday. I mean, foremost, the news broke about the Freemason hit squad in France. Then we wrap up the episode yesterday and the internet explodes because the ATF in the Tyler Robinson case cannot connect the gun to him. Oh, okay, interesting. What does it all mean? You have a bunch of people racing. Ooh, could you imagine the PR cash they are spending right now? Racing to tell you this is a big nothing burger. Who cares if we can't connect the gun to the bullet fragment? Okay, we care. I care because we were right. And we wanted to make sure that we took the time to actually read through the court filings, and we're going to take you through them. And if I'm being honest, there is something that is buried in these filings that not even Tyler Robinson's defense team caught. And we did. And in my opinion, it is definitive proof that Tyler Robinson is a patsy. The feds are just putting this on him. And I do mean the FBI. From JFK to MLK, now to CJK. This is, in my opinion, an undeniable state killing. Welcome back to Candace. allow me to be the first to say it. If the gun does not fit, you must acquit. Okay? Now, before we address these court filings and take you through them line by line so you are educated, you can go out into the world, you can say, you read through them yourself, it's only 28 pages, and then you can look at the people that are trying to manipulate you and to lie to you about what's in the filings. I at first want to transport you back to the beginning because some time has passed and the story that we were told has changed so many times that you actually have to go back to the beginning to fully comprehend how this case fell apart so quickly for Turning Point USA, for Erica Kirk, and what I think is fair to refer to as their federal accomplices, because that's what it looks like to me. Charlie Kirk was shot on September 10th, 12:23 p.m. In the afternoon, Mountain Time. Now, a mere, 4 minutes after Charlie's bloodied body was carried to the SUV, Terrell Farnsworth, the man who runs the audio-visual company that Turning Point employs, they've used them for over a decade for their big events, and he's never goes to these college events, but they were trying something different that day, he says. Like an assassination? I don't know. Anyways, Terrell Farnsworth raced down from his nearby grassy knoll where he was recording himself. And what does he do when he races down? He returns to the crime scene and violates it. More specifically, he grabs the very chair that Charlie Kirk had just been sitting in, the chair that Charlie was murdered in, and he takes it over back to the camera, and he stands on that chair, that bloody chair, and removes specifically the SD card from the camera that was behind Charlie's head. Okay. Now, later, Andrew Colvett is going to explain that Terrell was acting heroically because he was afraid that students were going to steal stuff from the table. There were people that were grabbing hats, and Terrell thought, let me spring into action and rescue this SD card. Yeah, we know Andrew Colvett's lying because Terrell did not take the expensive camera. If you were afraid about things being stolen that were of value, you wouldn't remove the SD card and then leave the expensive camera on the table. The SD card is $15, okay? The camera's pretty expensive. Terrell Farnsworth seemed to be moving with precision as if he were acting on some sort of instruction, am I right? But to what end, I wondered. Why that camera? Why specifically the one behind Charlie's head in particular? And because I was wondering, I decided on September 17th, exactly 1 week after Charlie's assassination, to reach out to him. I called him. And he was exceedingly nervous. He stammered through a great many nonsensible excuses. I did it to protect Erica, he said. I wanted to secure the footage for Erica so that she wouldn't have to see the footage of Charlie being shot in 4K. Okay, clocked you on another lie. Because that was already a foregone conclusion. The entire world had just witnessed Charlie Kirk bleeding out. Okay, you can't save Erica from the internet already circulating these clips to the tune of billions of people who watched it worldwide. More crucially, if he was actually worried about Erica seeing the footage, common sense to me says that he would have grabbed the camera that was like, I don't know, a yardstick away from Charlie's face. Oh, yeah, that camera that we've circled right here, that would have grabbed the action. That would have been the real up-close shot of Charlie bleeding out. So he lied. The camera from behind, making matters worse, once I actually saw the footage, it had no blood. We revealed that on this show, so now you can think through that. He was telling me he was trying to save Erica from seeing her husband die, but yet this was the most mild shot of all. There was not a drop of blood on Charlie's back as he went down. So what exactly was it that Terrell was racing to hide? What they were hiding, and I am going to speculate this boldly now, having read through these files and thought through everything that has happened, they were hiding was the fact that the bullet did not go through, did not pierce through Charlie. I believe that that was supposed to remain a state secret. The public was never supposed to have that piece of information. I feel pretty certain about that because after being told that the 30-06 was fired from a rifle a mere 150 yards away into the most delicate human neck, the assumption, all of us made the assumption, actually, we never even asked the question. Our assumption was just that it had gone through, of course. And I believe that that is the true reason why they moved to pave over the scene so quickly, because that was supposed to be the narrative. We've got the gun. We're going to say it was 30-06. We're going to say it passed through. We collected the evidence. Now it's paved through. Nobody can look. It's gone. But something happened. There was a divine intervention. Terrell showed me the back footage 2 days later on September 19th because I kept pressing him. Why are you being so weird? Why are you acting so strange? Why are you giving me so many excuses? Why are you telling me you're scared to send the footage because Google might hack you? That's bizarre. Why are you telling me you don't know how to send footage? You are an audiovisual company. You should know how to send big files. And so he eventually just said, hey, I'll FaceTime you. I'll just FaceTime you. I'm not going to send you anything, but I'll FaceTime you. So on September 19th, he did that. And gratefully, I moved to record that FaceTime call because his energy made me uncomfortable. And later that day, I informed the public on my show that the bullet didn't go through. I said the oddest thing. It's like there was no blood in the back of Charlie. That's so strange. And this public revelation caused a mass internal panic at Turning Point USA. Do you want to know how I know that it caused panic? Because the very next day, on September 20th, Justin Strife was contacting my husband several times, asking him if I had recorded that FaceTime call with Terrell. It came across like an urgent matter. I was sitting in the living room. George came to me. He's like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but like Justin Strife is hitting me up. He's asking me if you recorded, what's he talking about? I said, what? Why does he care? Why is this urgent? Why are they following up with you? What's up? And he's like, I don't know. What? And then I explained to him what happened. And I said, honey, don't answer the question. I find the question in and of itself to be weird. Why do they care if I recorded and have the back footage? And guess what? I found out why. I found out. Do you want to know why they were feeling a bit of pressure? Who it was in particular that was placing pressure on Justin Strife and Frank Carney to determine whether or not I had recorded that back footage? The feds were. The FBI. The FBI was on the phone with Justin Strife, Frank Carney, and they were apparently speaking to the feds that day about whether or not I had recorded the footage.
You should be ready. I'm gonna go pick it up. Hmm.
Now, why do you think this information was so important to the FBI? Why would the feds be concerned about whether or not I had the back footage? I'm screen recording a FaceTime call. They've got it in 4K. They're not protecting Erica. It's everywhere. Unbeknownst to me at that time, this was also the exact day of Charlie's private burial. And yet, this is what they were consumed with. Erica was highly concerned about the back footage as well. So much so that rather than attending exclusively to her husband's private funeral,
Maybe 2 raids in a row that he's not there.
Живый! Вон он, блядь, ебать его! Вон он, сука!
GG's. Fucking hot. No way he was living that. Not with level 4. Man, they dropped their bags somewhere. So these guys, they came from where I came from. Didn't drop it here. You would think like that he would have dropped it like on the way. How many ears did you have? I'm 32. Wait, so this guy's just been chilling in the raid the whole time? Like, not moving? GG's, I guess? He's just him, I guess?
Funeral. Okay. The higher priority for Erica on that day was to curate a response to the public regarding why the bullet had not gone through. I want to say that again, okay? Responding to my episode where I simply told the public the truth that there was no bullet that passed through was deemed a higher priority than Erica being fully emotionally present at her husband's funeral. Her and Andrew were discussing this. They peeled off to the side and they conferenced the surgeon on the day of Charlie's actual funeral. They conferenced and called Dr. Lee. Trotter. This is the single biggest lie that Erica Kirk would later tell me. She would insist to my face, and I did not believe her for 1 second, and I politely pushed back, that Andrew went rogue that day, that the surgeon went rogue too. The two of them had a discussion that she did not authorize, discussion that she was not privy to. The surgeon violated HIPAA. Andrew violated her privacy. And after that discussion, Andrew went double rogue and he tweeted about the nature of this discussion that he could not have had with the surgeon without Erica's permission. Erica lied. Erica and Andrew colluded on how to message to the public about this little fact that was never meant to be known to us. Dr. Lee Trotter did not violate HIPAA. In fact, he could sue her for defamation, in my personal opinion. She was the one that was on the phone with Andrew, and they were asking the doctor what they could tell the public, and it was Erica Kirk that said that Charlie ate healthy, and she bet he had a neck like Superman. Pretty obvious if we just pause and think about it. It was pretty girly and emotional. Man of Steel, he just eats healthy. That's not how serious trauma surgeons communicate, okay? It's just not. But the crucial point of Andrew's tweet that people are forgetting, and why I'm taking you back through this as before we get into these filings, is that on that day, as they were freaking out. Feds calling me, my husband. Feds calling Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA putting pressure on me and my husband, Erica and Andrew, on the side, trying to figure out how to message. The crucial part is that then when they did deliver this information to the public, they declared that the coroner found the bullet. The bullet, not a fragment, the bullet. On September 20th, after the autopsy and the death certificate were issued, they communicated to the public the bullet was found beneath Charlie's skin, okay? We can read that statement together. They want you to forget these things. Andrew tweeted, I want to address some of the discussion about the lack of an exit wound with Charlie. I'm usually not interested in delving into most of this kind of online chat.
Wait. I don't know if I have the. Oh, 100K for that optic.
un silencio entre los dos, una mirada que lo dice todo, pero hay un abismo cruel que ahoga este sentir a modo. Las palabras danzan en la punta de mi lengua, melodías de un afecto tan profundo. Quisiera soltarlas como aves que vuelan, pero el miedo las encierra en un segundo. Este cariño florece en secreto, pido perdidas y sonrisas fugaces, que solo vuelvan un dulce decreto, que la distancia y la duda hacen que no creas.
Chatter, and I apologize if this is somewhat graphic, but in this case, the fact that there wasn't an exit wound is probably another miracle, and I want people to know. I just spoke with the surgeon who worked on Charlie in the hospital. He said the bullet absolutely should have gone through, which is very, very normal for a high-powered, high-velocity round. I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always just go through everything. This would have taken a moose or two down, an elk, etc. But it didn't go through. Charlie's body stopped it. I mentioned to his doctor that there were dozens of staff, students, and special guests standing directly behind Charlie on the other side of the tent, and he replied, quote, "It was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get killed. His bone was so healthy, and the density was so impressive that he's like the Man of Steel. It should have just gone through and through it, like
No, is that Scav serious?
Чувствую себя как дома. Пристегните ремни! Скоро взлетаем!
tripping on finding the note. That's not good. Where is he taking me? Well, why is it taking so long?
Высадку.
Thought that was a PMC, bro.
Воу, пацан готов.
that looted, bro? That's something. Pretty much I looted it all. Um, Yo, is it here for the mine? I can't fucking win. I can't fucking win. I can fucking type. Railroad. They're not like a map of the fucking. Oh, okay.
Would have killed those standing behind him too. End quote. Andrew then concludes, in the end, the coroner did find the bullet just beneath the skin. Even in death, Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. Remarkable Miraculous. Foremost, why would a coroner be finding anything? A coroner is not even a health. They just say this person's dead. Park that aside. It's Andrew Colbert. Let's assume they met the medical examiner. And again, the bullet was found beneath the skin, not a fragment. It was recovered, and that was similarly echoed to me in the days that followed. But 3 days beyond that, I had a long conversation with Andrew, and I was very grateful for it. On September 23rd, he provided me with even more details about that Man of Steel tweet, because I was going, it doesn't sound real, Andrew. And I took meticulous notes, and I would be willing to testify under oath regarding what I was told from Andrew Kovac. He told me that the bullet traveled, and I'm going to show you this, so you, in case you're like me and you don't know about the vertebrae in the neck, that it traveled from C2, okay, think about the entry point, it's almost upward, down to C6, and then it moved downward into Charlie's thorax, where it was shattered. Okay. Another adjustment, okay? Another adjustment, because first they found the bullet beneath his skin. Now suddenly the bullet is fragmented in his thorax. Then we're going to get Brian Harpole, who's going to say, no, it fragmented in his stomach, thorax, whatever he says. These are very important and relevant changes that they are making because they're realizing that their story is not going to work. So why that change? Why did we go from, we got the bullet, coroner got the bullet, to actually, you know what? It's ricocheting and it shattered. I'll give you my best guess. It's because at some point the feds realized that their initial plan was completely ruined by the back footage, that they had to pivot. And at first they pivoted, but it was sloppy. They had 24 hours. Andrew tweeted that they found the bullet. But the reality is, as my source who's close to the Robinson family told me, that family heirloom gun takes special bullets. In fact, I was told that there was no way the prosecution was going to be able to connect the bullets to that gun. I think the feds then realized that. First we got the bullet, then they quickly pivoted. There's no bullet. It's just a small fragment. Problem solved. Now we can have ATF say that it's inconclusive later down the line. There's another part of this that everyone is missing, and I want to stress it to you. They cannot even prove that the gun was fired. Say it again. They cannot even prove that the gun was fired. Why is the media not telling you this? Have you guys realized that there's a big piece missing from the evidence? Where is the basic GSR test? Okay? Testing to see if you fired a weapon. It's a test that, like, it puts some stuff on, then it turns your hands, purple or bluish purple under the light. GSR test. Did they conduct that 33 hours later to see if Tyler Robinson had fired a weapon? Right? They could have actually brought in a bomb dog for that. No, they didn't do that. You remember the bomb dogs went into the field where the weapon was found. I broke that story, and they didn't find the weapon. That is literally impossible. It's literally impossible. There's no one that will get up there and tell you anything different, that a trained bomb dog, if they are taken into a field where there's a gun that is sitting that was recently fired, they will find the dog. They will find the gun. But apparently the bomb dogs missed it. And the gun that was eventually found, which my sources say they are convinced that the feds planted it when they arrived, was not fired on September 10th. Okay? If it were, and they knew Tyler Robinson fired it, they would have taken the bomb dogs, had them smell the dog, they would have had them smell the weapon, find the weapon, smell the person, and tell you that it's connected to him. The canines would have done that for them. They didn't do that. And the last thing I want to reiterate to you before we get into what these filings reveal is that there are a bunch of frauds right now that are telling you that they found Tyler Robinson's DNA on the gun, okay? What they keep conveniently leaving out is that they found a total of 6 sets of prints on the gun. It is not shocking that Tyler Robinson's gun had Tyler Robinson's prints on it. That's not shocking. The question is, who took Robinson's gun and placed it into the field unfired? That's where we are at in this case. And so the big news yesterday was that the bullet, which has now been conveniently reduced to a fragment, happened very quickly over a couple of days, has come back, and the ATF has concluded that they can't connect to the gun. It's inconclusive. And now the prosecution wants the corrupt FBI to conduct their own analysis. And I'm going to tell you what is very wrong with that, because I think it's pretty clear that the feds are working with Turning Point USA. And all evidence points to the fact that the feds are dirty in this case. Like I said, I have spoken to SWAT, local police departments, sources close to the accused, UVU students, people that work at UVU, everyone is saying the feds are a part of a broader conspiracy. And based on the evidence that I am seeing and based on these filings, which I am about to show you, I believe that. So while the people who are racing to delude you about this case are making tons of claims about the recent filing, we're going to actually take you through it. Tyler Robinson's team in this filing, just what we're looking at is they are asking for an extension. And we are going to show you the extraordinarily valid reasons as to why. At first, just want to say off top of this, I think we can all readily dismiss the repeated lie that Tyler Robinson confessed to his crime, right? He's asking for a continuation. A man who confesses a crime and says, I did it, does not request a continuation so that he can gather evidence. If he was admittedly guilty and so overwhelmingly guilty that he turned himself in and said, I did it, he would not be trying to win the case. Okay? And why are they requesting the continuation? They make it very clear because discovery is missing. Discovery in a case is when you accuse me of something and then I say, okay, I want to see your text messages from September 10th. I want to see your text messages from September 8th, and you have to give them to me, right? I'm the defense. You got to give those to me. They're saying that they can't prepare a defense until they receive all of the items that they have requested from the prosecution. They haven't delivered them to them, okay? Requesting a continuation is so beyond standard in proceedings. I have filed for them myself. I filed for them in the Brigitte case. It is so beyond standard that you should be offended to any person who is trying to make that scandalous or purport otherwise. So we're going to go through this filing together. It's essentially 28 pages plus a ton of exhibits. Let's look at this document, okay? And Sky, I'm going to pull it up on my page just so I don't have to squint and read, since I feel like my eyesight is getting worse and worse with every child. Okay, so we're starting up here with the introduction, and I've highlighted the portions that you can take a look to. We learned that Mr. Robinson seeks to continue the preliminary hearing, which is scheduled for May 2026, to a setting that allows him and his counsel to receive discovery that is necessary for preliminary hearing preparations. Okay. Then it is going to state that on March 12th, 2026, the counsel for the parties, they met and they conferred regarding discovery issues and the evidence the state intends to present at the preliminary hearing. Based upon the state's representations at this meeting, the state intends to present these discrete buckets of evidence through 3 identified law enforcement witnesses. So they're saying, we just met on the 12th, and they told us that they're going to, when we have this preliminary hearing, they're going to bring 3 witnesses to the stand. This is going to include conclusory forensic DNA and ballistics reports authored by the FBI and the ATF, phone and social media data, testimony by law enforcement officials about the crime scene and search locations, and testimony by Mr. Robinson's parents and roommate. Okay? Conclusory is the key word here. I'm going to explain to you why this is exceedingly problematic, that they are going to present conclusory evidence that they have not actually given beyond the conclusions to the defense. And to the point about Mr. Robinson's parents and roommates that are going to be, that they want to bring up, that means nothing. You can bring up whoever you want to the stand. And because Matt Robinson says, this is my gun that I gave to Tyler Robinson, it is common sense to me that they would put him on the stand and they say, do you recognize this gun? Yes, I recognize the gun. You can't lie about that. Is this your gun? Yes. You're going to contain your questions just to get him to identify that that's his son, and that is his gun, and that he gave his gun to his son. That's my guess. And they're going to try to scandalize that. Some people are saying, he's testifying for the prosecution. No, he's not testifying for the prosecution. They are naming him as a witness, and he is going to be forced to answer questions under oath, likely, I would assume, about the gun. Okay? So then they go on and they say the state intends to offer a significant amount of hearsay identified in the Utah Rule of Evidence at a preliminary hearing. Namely, they're just going to get up there and they are going to tell you that they've made these conclusions, but we can't tell you how they got to these conclusions. That's what they're saying. They're telling that this is inconclusive and it's not attached to the gun, but we want to see how they arrived at that, because that could be very important for us, okay? Okay, we can scroll down here. And this is where it is wild, and this reveals the prosecution strategy. I want you to go back into your mind when Erica got up and she did this news clip, and she was like, I would like this to be rushed. Like, I want the case to go by quickly. I want to, write for this to go. And we were like, what's that about? And I will also remind you that when I sat down with Erica, I explained to you that her lawyer told me that right now we don't have any evidence. The way that this works is that now the state's going to go out and they're going to find the evidence. And then once we have the evidence, they're going to give it to Tyler Robinson's team, who's going to be able to draft some sort of a response to the evidence. And then we have the preliminary hearing. Okay. So that is what they are going to say. They're going to tell you what Erica's team did, what the state did. In total, they're referring to Tyler Robinson's team, has received approximately 20,000 files, excluding digital electronic discovery, which was provided on a hard drive during that meeting on March 12th. So when they were conferring, then suddenly they gave them another drive, okay? Now, initially, they had files, which were 61,500 pages in total before that March 12th meeting. They had audio files that were 31 hours in total length, so they're going through all that. They were also given more than 5,000 video files containing more than 700 hours of video until March 12th when they conferred. And then they handed them this little drive. And guess how much was on that drive on March 12th? It amounts to approximately 12 terabytes of data and over 600,000 files. So they have less than 2 months to go. They've had all of this time since September to deliver them all of this data for them to go through, and they waited until March 12th, and they handed them a drive, and they said, here are 600,000 files. See you in May. That is a strategy, okay? That is a dump when you know they are not going to be able to go through everything and see what you have. You're giving them so much, and it is a strategy people do. When people are subpoenaed and they fight the subpoena, like, oh, I get your text messages for 2 years. Remember when Blake Lively requested that from me? And I'm like, I don't want to give it. And then the judge says, no, you have to give it. They will then give them more than they even asked for. I'll give you every email, text, because somewhere buried in there is what you need, but you're not going to have the time to find that. You don't have the force behind you. This is going to take 800 paralegals working for 800 hours each in order for you to go through all of this. That is what this looks like to me. Why are you waiting until March 12th? This is a very bad strategy. I mean, I'm actually going to say it's an immoral strategy to dump this on them. Okay? 600,000 files after first giving them 20,000 files until March 12th. Stunning. On that bottom paragraph, which we have highlighted orange, it says, what is known at present is that Mr. Robinson has not received the forensic case files and the data necessary to investigate, through the use of qualified experts, the scientific reports that the state intends to introduce at the preliminary hearing. Mr. Robinson has diligently requested the disclosure of forensic case files and the data underlying the laboratory reports in an effort to get these materials to the defense. And he's been doing that since September 30th, okay? So they've just been giving him conclusions, and they were like, how'd you get here? We have his text messages. Okay, can we see how you got those? Can we see the dates? Can we see the chain of custody? Can we see how you pulled it off? Who signed off on it? Nope. They're just giving them conclusions, and what they're saying is, we can't even determine if they're fake or they're real until you give us what we are asking for. We need to get in the weeds. We need to see effectively the metadata. Who pulled this information off the server? We want to see the chain of custody. How did this happen? How did this file get created? You can't just send us a PDF conclusion. That is what is in these documents. They are playing games. They're playing games. It's very obvious. We're going to keep going here. It then tells us that during the hearing, which was held back in January, the counsel for the parties discussed the status of the lab files, and UCAO, that's the Utah County Attorney's Office, informed the defense that they, too, were awaiting the files. And we memorialized that for the state in our February 3rd letter, that we still don't have these lab files. We're looking for, how they are saying they got the DNA. They're just telling us conclusions, and we can't prod narratives, right? And so that's a problem. They're not being allowed to do that. And then if we scroll down to the bottom of page 6, it's telling us, like, hey, there has not been a prior request to continue the preliminary hearing. And I'd like to remind you that back in December 11th, we raised this issue with you. When you set this date for the week of May 18th for the state, we said in response, this isn't going to work. We need to make sure we have the stuff that we need. And what did the court tell us? The court said, and they're quoting, "I do not find there's any prejudice in setting a date for a preliminary hearing. It's not set in stone. It certainly can be moved." This is the judge. "I recognize the parties have a lot of obligations, but I also want to recognize the importance of this case moving forward. And if nothing more, then this is just a goal for a preliminary hearing. If it needs to be changed, the court understands that." So the court already told Tyler Robinson's team, we just want to get something on the calendar. We understand it might need to be moved, and it might not be practical. So they're like, hey, can you honor that now that we have the proof that this is not practical? You can't just drop 600,000 files on us on March 12th and tell us to be ready by May 18th. Does everybody agree with that? I think we all agree with that. We're all sane people. We agree with that. Okay? Now, if we scroll down, then they're going to kind of make more arguments, and they're going to bring in some jurisprudence, meaning like past cases that demonstrate the points that they're making and why this is like totally par for the course. And they should just be like, yeah, of course you get a continuance. You got 600,000 documents, but you still have to do this. You have to point to cases and proof of why this is okay. And Skylar, I'm on page 11 now, and they write here, "There are materials that are known to the police prosecution team that have not yet been provided to us. While it is anticipated that discovery in this case will be ongoing throughout the duration, the defense is seeking the materials that are known to be reasonably available to the prosecution, materials that are known to be in possession of law enforcement partners identified by the state. Both the UCAO and Mr. Robinson continue to wait a vast amount of information relevant to a review of the FBI's and the ATF's DNA analysis, including, but not limited to, validation studies, crucial electronic data files, the reports, the case file for comparative bullet analysis, the bullet lead analysis that is still in progress at the FBI, and the case file and protocols for a comparative bullet analysis that's been conducted by the ATF. Okay, now, here is where it is going to be very interesting, okay? And I want to see, is this the page where we highlighted? Let me just go make sure I found this, where they get into the ATF. Actually, let's go to bottom of page 18. This is an example of how much they're just giving like absolute BS, and they're trying to run the clock, essentially. Tells us that, for instance, on March 12th, that's when they have that meeting to confer, the state indicated that it intended to introduce the autopsy report into evidence without any supporting expert testimony. So that was going to be a part of what they were going to present on the stand if this went through in May. The autopsy report, which was completed on September 16th, 2025, was not given to the defense until November 13th, 2025. Gets worse. So a 2-month delay to give them something they already had done. The autopsy photographs, which were taken on September 10th, 2025, were not produced to the defense until March 18th, 2026. They just gave them the photographs. Why? Make that make sense outside of trying to run the clock down so somebody cannot get another expert to look at everything and prepare arguments. Why would you have something available to you on September 16th and not hand it to them until March 18th? There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that outside of you do not believe you can win this case honestly. This is legal maneuvering. You're hoping a judge is going to be corrupt, is going to hear the cry of this widow. Please, I just want the case to be fast, she said on Fox News. This is hard. I'm asking them to move along fast. The widow wants to put this chapter behind her. Judge? Normally the public doesn't read through legal files, so they're not going to see the 600,000 documents that we just dropped on them. They're not going to see that, like, okay, we haven't even given them the autopsy report and stuff until, like, now it's March. The widow, she's grieving. She's asking, can't we at least do that for her? She doesn't have her husband. That is their manipulative strategy, and you can see it in these documents, okay? And then it says even more substantial discovery issues exist with respect to the DNA and the ballistics report that the state has indicated it intends to offer at the preliminary hearing without any supporting expert testimony. The summary, again, just summary, DNA reports produced by the FBI and the ATF indicate that both agencies recovered minute quantities of DNA on various items of evidence, which the reports opine consist of mixtures of up to 5 or more individuals. It's 5 individuals that are on this, and yet all I have is an analysis. I mean, a conclusion. Can I get more? Can I understand more about these 5 sets of prints that are on this? Who are these people? Do we know these people? No, they're not giving them anything. They're not giving them anything but the conclusion. And they're expecting them to be able to present this during the preliminary hearing. Now, this next portion regarding the firearm evidence is an absolute bomb. In fact, I might just pivot to break because I think we're running out of time. Pivot to break, Dom, and then when we get back, I'm going to explain this, why not even Tyler Robinson's defense caught what was in this paragraph. So we'll be right back after a quick break. All right, you guys, thanks to you, last year Preborn helped rescue over 80. There's a fast, simple way to turn that money into first-year credit score impact of plus 80 affordable long-term therapies. Here is actually the craziest part of the filing that I don't think anybody noticed. Okay, everybody's talking about the ATF, but the devil is always in the details. The feds are always in the details, okay? Now, I'm going to read this. Regarding the firearm evidence, the defense has been provided with an ATF summary. Again, just a summary report, which indicates that the ATF was unable to identify the bullet recovered at autopsy to the rifle allegedly tied to Mr. Robinson. Although the state has not indicated an intent to produce this report at the preliminary hearing, the defense may very well decide to offer the testimony of the ATF firearm analyst as exculpatory evidence. Okay, so they met, they conferred, and they're like, okay, we haven't even received, we got a summary that like this is not matching, but we want to see the whole report. We want to see how they got there because the report will show us how they conducted this. We'll actually be able to see that bullet fragment.
No, I know, but he sees me. That's not 100 meters. Bro.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Hey, what's up, man? Thank you for the follow, man. I appreciate it. And the raids are meh. I hate doing those kinds of quests. Just need PMCs, man. 100 meters and it's just cringe. Oh. Probably gonna get dome. I don't really care at this point. I think he's going to the outskirts now. Fresh German. Thought that was a hit. Oh, it's probably nobody left. Yeah, but it's annoying as fuck. But once you get the Alton, I think it's worth it. Where's Sherman? That guy didn't kill him. Ran away. Guards that. I don't know how much the keys worth on the free. Oh, wait, can I cancel? No, it used it. ICBA right now. He is still there. Go die to him. Oh. Must be gone. Or not? No way he domes me, right? What is that guy doing? Like, what are these two guys doing? The guy with the SR especially. Oh, he's doing the same thing I am. Should have waited till he got a bit further. I think there was two though. Not sure. Did I just hallucinate? Like, this guy's in Narnia, bro. Don't tell me he was across the water. Oh, I didn't even get a single kill, man. All this time spent for this is actually apparent. Let's just go back to loot on streets.
And how big is I don't know. We know nothing. And then Erica's team comes in, the state comes in, and they're like, it doesn't matter. We're not even gonna bring up the ATF thing. So you have our word, so we're good. They're like, well, first off, why aren't you bringing that up? And it's not about whether you're good, it's about whether we're good, because that's pretty exculpatory for us. If the gun does not fit, you must acquit. This is the purpose of a preliminary hearing, is to get a judge to just unilaterally dismiss something as an option. So what's up with that? Why are you not giving it? They're like, oh, because we're going to do some other testing down the line. Here's where it gets crucial. Pay attention. Look alive, okay? It goes on and it says, in order to make this determination, it is necessary for the defense and its firearm expert to review the ATF case file and the protocols relating to this examination, which have not yet been provided. The state has also indicated that the FBI is in the process of conducting a second comparative bullet analysis as well as a bullet lead analysis, that these analyses are not yet complete. Okay, pay attention, Tyler Robinson's defense team. I'm about to help you out in a big way. So they told you that, you conferred. They said, okay, don't worry, we got it. We got this. We're going to do a secondary thing with the feds. And like me, I'm nosy. I'm like, wait, what do you mean? The ATF is alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. That's the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. If they couldn't do it, what extra power does the FBI have to do it? If the firearm people can't do it, why is this going to the FBI? So I said, what is a comparative bullet lead analysis? What is that? I need to know things. I like to learn. And lo and behold, we find out that the CBLA, the compositional analysis, is a discontinued forensic technique that analyzed trace elements, copper, arsenic, in lead to link crime scene bullets to suspects. It was primarily used by the FBI from the 1980s until 2004, but it was then abandoned in 2005 due to flawed scientific, statistical, and interpretive validity. Wait, they discontinued this? like 20 years ago, 21 years ago, because they said it was flawed. And sure enough, Skylar starts looking through and he's like, yeah, no, the innocence, the people have been freed because of how flawed this was. They literally put the wrong people in prison using this technology until it became so obvious that nobody would even stand trial and back it anymore. So they just got rid of this analysis. It's been gone for 20 years. Wake up, Tyler Robinson's defense team. I know it's a lot going on, 600,000 files. This is them telling you they're going to make this bullet fit no matter what. The feds will do it. If ATF isn't going to be corrupt, we'll be corrupt. And they've been corrupt since the beginning of this. Look at this news clip explaining further why and how this technique that they're now going to employ got discredited historically and is no longer in use. Here are the reasons why it got discredited. Take a listen to this local Atlanta news clip.
FBI agents swore by it in courtrooms across America for decades, a type of forensic science called bullet-lead analysis.
This was used in thousands of cases and hundreds of trials, but the FBI stopped using it over flaws in the science. Now at least one man is free as another fights for his freedom. National investigative reporter Chris Nakamoto looks into the tainted testimony.
It was definitely a shock to the whole community.
In 1991, 45-year-old Norma Jean Yates was found inside this home, shot to death 7 times. The house set on fire.
She deserved better than that.
Her death, a defining event in the life of her husband, Jimmy Yates, because 6 years later, a jury convicted him of her murder. It's his first sit-down interview after being released in 2021.
Did you kill your wife?
No. I've maintained it all these years.
Police found a bullet in his vehicle, which they said matched the lead in bullets at the crime scene. That science the jury trusted when it ultimately convicted Yates, no longer used by the FBI. When a weapon is missing or a bullet too damaged, the FBI claimed at the time their science could match bullets to ammunition through the lead alone. Our national investigative team found the FBI admitted to using this science in 2,500 cases, and it was introduced in hundreds of trials across America. But in 2005, the FBI pulled the plug on this practice. Their admission, neither scientists nor bullet manufacturers are able to definitively attest to the significance of an association made between bullets in the course of a bullet-lead examination.
They discontinued this because not even the scientists or the bullet manufacturers would testify that that made any sense. Not even the scientists or the bullet manufacturers. We don't know how you're doing this. You're just saying that you have some special scientific technique that the scientists are saying is not so scientific, and the bullet manufacturers saying, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. And so they just quietly stopped doing that in 2005. Hey, but guess what, guys? Cash's boys are going to dust that off, pull it back, because ATF probably said, a little too obvious and corrupt for us. Okay, best we can do, like, you know, we're the feds, we're the Fed boys, love you, but can we give you an inconclusive? Can we just say inconclusive? It probably doesn't even match. Inconclusive is the best I can do as your homie. You guys are on your own if you're going to be that corrupt, despite this history of the strategy being corrupt. Because scientists, and you put a lot of people in jail wrongly, and the feds are like, yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put somebody in jail wrongly. So that's what we're doing. We need to bring back the technique that's been discontinued for 20 years. Incredible. Bombshell. Should be on the cover of every mainstream news, reporting that the FBI is bringing back an already debunked technique so that they can give Erica the evidence she needs.
Вали кепку!
Yo, did they die to Kaban? I am so retarded. I am so fucking retarded. I knew he was gonna peek. I knew. Like, why am I so bad? Oh my god, just put me in another fucking game. Hurry up. Holy fucking shit, bro. I get barrel. Yo. I played this. I want to fucking kill myself in game right now. He's cheating on top of that. Oh my god, that is so cringe. That is so fucking cringe. What fucking gun do I even go, man? Like, need to stack a few more bullets for the SVDS. Go nighttime interchange. What I need to do. I'm gonna try one more streak. Can I not fucking die like a retard this time? Like, I'm actually tilted about how I just died. That fucking pissed me off. Giving away free kits like that for nothing.
Nunca me voy a rendir, no me van a parar. Estoy andando de asalto, saben que tengo el pacto. No me van a parar. Voy liderando el asalto, ya no estamos sufriendo. No me van a parar. Estoy andando de asalto, saben que tengo el pacto.
I think it's time for me to go to bed. I'm blind. Was it PMC? I was dead anyways. Like, it's time for me to go to bed. Yeah. Something outside. Is that a Bitcoin? Yeah, but saw somebody though. They're having trouble. Another bit. Oh. Quest would be easier when I fight like a whole fucking platoon. There's no way that there's gonna be another PMC showing up. Fuck. Okay. Because that door was closed and he didn't even think about opening it. Widow Lamb 4. To come here, bro. Come on. Come on, man.
to connect this gun, which hasn't even been fired, to Tyler Robinson. Again, ignore the people that are telling you over and over again that his prints are on his gun. That's common sense, people. If somebody comes to my house and steals a gun, it's going to have me and George's prints on it and DNA on it because our prints carry oil and that's our DNA. It does not mean that we then took this gun and killed somebody. You got to connect the bullet. You got to connect the person. You got to conduct these tests to make sure they fired a weapon. They're doing none of that. All they're doing is spending an offensive amount of money on PR for people to convince you that this is an open and shut case, and it's not even open. It shouldn't even be open. Okay? I am just so stunned that they're doing this. I can't even believe how openly corrupt the feds are being. Please, guys, in your capacity, share this. Share that portion that they are bringing back. Make it viral, okay? The feds are so corrupt. Truly, I am like fed up. Literally, fed up. Federal.
Yeah. I'm gonna go eat some food, and I'm gonna go to bed because I'm passing out on my chair. I'm gonna wake up in like, what, 8-9 hours, take a shower, and go live again. So I'll catch you